All right, what's going on, brothers? Hopefully everything's going good. Hopefully everything's going well for you guys. All right, brothers. I got a question for you. Okay, if you see a so-called black man and he acts feminine, what would you think? Okay, now that you have answered that question, if you see a so-called black woman who act masculine, why wouldn't you think the same thing? And you might say, "Well, I do. You do with the studs." But what about the other women who portray masculine traits, who dress like who dress feminine or whatever? You understand? Why wouldn't you think that? You understand what I'm saying? Back in the day, we would just say she's a tomboy. Brothers, these women are gay. I'm not the first person to recognize this or see it. I'm surprised a lot of so-called black content creators, or so-called black men, I have yet to hear them say, "Oh, these women are projecting. They're the ones who really gay." I have yet to hear them say that. I'm not saying nobody hasn't, but I haven't came across it yet. I have came across a few so-called black women say it here and there, but that's something I've been knowing, and I know I'm not the only one. I know it's been many wise men before me, you know, and so on and so forth. This is nothing new, brothers. This has been going on for quite some time. You know, before I was even born, at one time they called them bull daggers. We're going way back. But anyway, the point being is this, brothers. What do they say? The term masculine. They be like, "Oh man, I got my own this, I got my own that." Oh man, she come off masculine. You know, you understand? I think at one term they was using was how women try to hide their masculinity or cover their masculinity to try to fool men, stuff like that, right? People like a Ebony K. Mitchell or something like that, right? Something like that, right? Brothers, you don't think those women are not bisexual or not dealing with other women? Brothers, I'm willing to bet you my last dollar that every woman you see on social media and in real time who is quick to call a so-called black man gay for any discrepancy is gay. If it ever happened to you in real time, ask her have she ever slept with a woman. Of course she's gonna say no. Don't worry about their answer. Look at her body language. Look at her body. Look at her face reaction. Look at everything. Why she'll give it away? You're like, whoa. Her body, she'll give it away, and she's gonna give it away because 9 times out of 10, most men are not going to challenge her. They're not. Now, granted, I would hope you won't get into a conversation like that. It's best to just avoid it. But I'm just saying, you never know. I'm saying if you brothers, if you do, that's all you got to do, and the telltale will be there. Brothers, you cannot think. I mean, I can say cannot. I just say me, brothers. It is hard for me not to suspect that a lot of these women, I'm talking about especially the ones who as you say, hate men, who come off masculine, the women who come off masculine on these social medias and in real time, it is hard for me not to think that they're not messing with other women. And that's been the uptick. I got a video on my channel. Who's more gay, the so-called black men or so-called black women? In the LGBTQ, the uptick in this article from 2019, they said the gay population has pretty much been steady, but there's been a rise in bisexual women, and the number one demographic is so-called black women, who is the main demographic calling their men gay in real time on social media. Right? And it's not to attack the black women, but it's just something I would like to a question that I would like to ask you, brothers. Why that's not the case? Why you wouldn't think that? But I know why you wouldn't think it, because you give a so-called black woman so much grace, so much leeway. And brothers, it's been a common knowledge. I know I'm not the only one. When I was coming up, it was common knowledge, that women was messing with women, but nobody cared. A lot of guys swept it under the rug. It was so many rumors. Of course, you can say, well, they just rumors. Okay, cool. It was so many rumors of women messing with each other when I was coming up, it was ridiculous. Of course, some women, some people confirmed it, some people would deny. You know how it go. But it was like it was commonplace. But a lot of guys, we just swept it under the rug because we wanted to have sex with them. It was commonplace. It's been quite a few girls I've dated who admitted to me that they have, dealt with dealt with women. These things are nothing new, brothers. Nothing new. And it's been commonplace, at least since I've been living, and even of yesteryear. Show you it's nothing new. The studs was complaining all my life. I've heard studs complain like, mention like, man, yeah, their ex girlfriend go back to their baby daddy or to another man. I'm pretty sure you guys know a stud. Ask a stud. I bet she be like, yeah, man, yeah. Once we broke up, she back with another man. She back with a man. Brothers, I have even have been told stories where the studs uh, actually sleep with the men. The studs and their girlfriend actually get trains ran on them. You understand what I'm saying? I know this to be true. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the type of the crazy stuff you got going on. But anyway, that's just a question I wanted to ask, brothers. And it's for you brothers, because I notice a lot of so-called black men, you give the woman more grace. But if you saw so-called black men, not don't granted, black men and women are not equals. I will agree, and we do differentiate. But on a lot of things, we do correlate. So, but that's it right there, brothers. You know, I'm willing to bet my last dollar any woman in real time will come off masculine, because there's a lot of them have a lot of masculine traits, especially in the so-called black community. I'm pretty sure you got in other demographics, but I'm predominantly in the so-called black community. So, of course, I predominantly see it amongst my people. And also, not all so-called black women are like that, which I'm happy to say. But you do catch them with a lot of masculine traits. You don't think that woman is not entertaining another woman or will? Come on now. You understand? Even the women on social media who come off masculine, single by choice, okay, okay. Anyway, brothers, you know that's it right there, brothers. I'm out, man. Peace.